Hello? Hey, you can hear me. Alright. So after playing all day yesterday with no microphone, I finally found the microphone that I had in my house that actually worked. So, there we are. I've been playing on this Minecraft world for 6 years. It's my world. It's actually really funny because there was a very long time in my life where I would just bounce around from world to world, essentially maybe staying in one Minecraft world for like a year. And then I'd move on to the next one and move on to the next one. I never really like just kept them. And then about 6 years ago, I loaded up this world. There was nothing special about it. There was literally nothing about this world that was like, oh my god, I have to keep it. I just, for whatever was the difference, I decided to keep it. And 6 years, there's a very long time. There's a lot of stuff you can do. And I mean, where we're at right now, this is my quote unquote industrial district. This is where farms go. So, this massive monstrosity you see here, this is an iron farm. And the iron golem just got burned up there. It produces iron and red flowers. Um, I have a little bit of a wool farm set up going on over here, but that was only because I was trying to create a map, a completely white blank map, so that way I could start making my own maps or my own paintings, I guess I should say, in Minecraft. You got your tree farm set up over there. They're not automatic. Majority of the stuff in these areas are automatic farms. Like you see how the um, iron golems are getting burned up, and they produce my iron automatically for me. And the same with the sheep. The sheep, it runs through. It automatically goes through the system. I got automatic sugarcane farm. I got an automatic kelp farm over there. I have actually, we'll just go over there and look at it. But yeah, you got just a little baby cactus farm, and then these are all the growables that I harvest manually by hand, just little bits about it. Just because this whole area over here, this right here, this is the kelp farm. It's actually funny because when I built the kelp farm, I wanted it to be automatic, but like I didn't know how to time it, so I just used a piece of sugar cane, and so when that piece of sugar cane grows up in front of that observer, it it sets off this piston that breaks the sugar cane back to being only one block, and then burns it up in the lava, also triggering these pistons, firing these things, and cutting all the kelp that's grown up there. And because amazing Minecraft has changed everything over the years, they have made it so items that get put into water automatically float up. So you see how that block, I threw that block out, and now that block is floating up. And so because of that, that block would float. I'm going to collect it because I don't want it to go in my system. It would go up here, and then since it would get to the top here and the water's moving, it would just flow off into the hoppers. Hoppers are there because, again, I'll take like I forgot you're supposed to use a sword. I just recently learned that swords are what you're supposed to be using on this shit. Which makes sense. I just never really had done it before. And there's the automatic sugarcane farm. Does a little bit of sugarcane. Um, yeah, just try to combine all my. This is not the only chest there is. There's like a drain off chest out here, full of different other items from how long this thing's been running. This you, this here was my horribly poor attempt to try to make a system in which the chickens could lay the eggs and then automatically cook themselves. But I kind of screwed it up and stopped and gave up before I got too far. This right here was a messed up attempt to build a creeper farm, but it wasn't particularly correct, but didn't really do too bad a job. I'm going to take some of these, my first build of the day. I've been thinking about wanting to build what I'm thinking about wanting to build now for a while. And ironically, I need dispensers for it, and how perfect is it that I have a whole row of dispensers back here. Still definitely need to build a creeper farm, because now that I have finally moved with the times and started actually using an elytra to move around instead of using like horses and stuff like that, because I always believed, if you know, I like the wings. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I love the wings now that I actually use them, but you know, I've always liked the idea of being able to fly in Minecraft. It was also just the idea of, it's like, once you get wings, it makes everything else in the game completely pointless. So it's like, what's the point of riding horses? What's the point of having mine carts that you can ride and stuff like that? Like, none of that's useful because they're all slow compared to flying around with wings. Plus, when you get wings, you have to have fireworks to fly. Well, if you want to. It's easiest to fly. So, essentially, that requires gunpowder, paper, and gunpowder. Now, fortunately, if you can get a stack of 64 gunpowder, it will give you, like, I think it's either 3.5 or 2.5 stacks of rockets. But sometimes you just want to like fly around and enjoy yourself, and you know, you might use an extra rocket, or I mean a few extra rockets, and sometimes, you know, like, you only use it for travel from one main base to another, and because of that, it makes it so it's a little bit more they go by less as fast, I guess I should say. Because, like, I just recently, I mean, it's been a couple weeks, but just recently made a whole bunch of rockets, and literally these are the last 31 I have. So, I mean, this was why I made the wool farm over here. This is so that I can make my own paintings. If you don't know how Minecraft works, essentially you just make a map. Come over here. Do I have an empty one? Yeah, so this is an empty map. As you can see, I have, you know, put some things here that said 2022 because it was 2022. This was just MF because those are my initials. Oh, fucking, I hate them. Oh, fucking. I think that Phantoms were probably the worst addition to Minecraft that they've ever put in. I really think that even to this day they should go back and rework them. It seems extremely stupid to say, oh look, this game is meant to make you sleep, and if you don't sleep, then these special monsters come in and destroy you. It's like, it makes no sense. It's like, dude, I don't want to fucking sleep. I have no issue playing through the night. But yeah, so anyways, as you can see, it's just a big white canvas that's, you know, full of torches to obviously make the mobs stop spawning. But then what you do now, using these two as an example, just because I am going to make the map and show you guys what it does, but, you know, essentially what you do is you get a bunch of cool colored wool, and you'll come up here, and, you know, using this whole white area, you make yourself a picture of something, you know, whatever that picture might be, you know, fucking Star Wars character, Marvel character, DC character, you know, your name, some fancy color scheme. I mean, whatever it is, you just make your own picture out here. And then when you come over here and you make the map, as you can see, I used black on the border, and yes, if you notice, the right and the top side are definitely thicker than the left and the bottom, but I don't really care. And you can definitely see this hole you know, this hole here is used with white carpet, so the white would still show up, but I realized that it's showing up to the point where I unfortunately am probably going to have to block it off. Yeah, so that's how you make art, you know, because obviously, as you can see, I'm standing on this part here that's the 2022 in wool, and then when you look at the sign, you clearly see where it shows 2022 at, and it makes you realize that literally you can draw and make your own pixel art photos, and then, you know, the best part is I'm not going to do it with this one because I don't need to have another one of this maps, but essentially if you put it into the map or into the cartography table, and I were to put a glass pane right here, it would lock this map, and it would make it so no matter what, even if I come over here and completely rechange what the surface is, like completely change the picture, this map will always be locked into what you see here. Because like as of right now, I don't want to use my water bucket because that's just going to create a mess where they're going to knock all the shit everywhere. But we'll just do this. We'll just literally run a double layer of cobblestone or of stone down the side right here, right? Because that's obviously going to turn gray. I mean, the map's going to pick up on the colors more than, you know, the actual item that you're placing down, so it doesn't matter. It's not wool, it's just using the gray color. And then when you look at the map, now you can see under 2022, there's this gray line. And that's because clearly we just added this. So if you lock the map, if I would have locked the map and then added the stone, the 2022 sign wouldn't have had the gray underneath of it. It would have been locked into what it was. So that's how you do that. You make, you know, you can make something, you lock the photo, and then after you lock the photo, you can come up here and make it a completely different picture. But that one map that you made that's locked will hold that original picture you had. Then you can duplicate that picture if you want to put more, you know, want to make a painting and like put it all over your base. You know, you can duplicate one painting multiple times and stuff like that. So that's what it's one of the bigger projects I did, and it was toward the end of 2022. That's why I had marked on the map 2022, because I was marking the year just to be like, hey, you know, it's the end of the year. I might as well make it known that, you know, what year it is that I am indeed making the maps, because I'll show you the progression. The best reason, and if you're wondering why these are all built in the middle of the ocean, it's because mob spawns. There are less mobs that can spawn in the ocean than they can underground and stuff in the real world. So you build all your farms in the middle of the ocean, and that creates really only the areas that you create as spawnable areas. That's why there's a lot of carpets or, you know, spawn or torches spammed everywhere, or even slabs, because those are all things that prevent spawning. And I'll show you the pictures. I'm missing one. I keep forgetting to grab it and put in my inventory so I could bring it over here. But this was the progression. I should have started one when it was empty, or even like started the progression earlier, or maybe started putting more into the progression. But yeah, there was just one island, one tiny little island right here that I essentially built everything off of. That's why those stairs that I have that lead down, and I said I was going to have to fill that hole, that's that right there. It's just a little underground area that I could get to if I needed to go get sand for glass or anything like that. But this was the progressional building. I built this like circular pyramid of like red, white, and blue, and then I changed that into my initials, and then the more I added, you know, white to it, and the black border would show up, or I started adding more and more to the initials just to kind of show progression farther and farther. Then I circled in green. Then at this point, this is when I had placed 1,000,000 white blocks, and we had literally a little over half of it done. This one I completed 11/22/22, so still technically a month and a week away from the end of the year. And then I completed the last one, and I think I wrote the date down on the last one. But again, I have that inside of my Ender chest. I don't have one here because unfortunately I broke the one that was here like an idiot, and I haven't replaced it. So because of that, I always forget to put it in my pocket when I come over here. This is a lighthouse I built. I actually built this on my birthday of 2022. I had been wanting to build a lighthouse and for a long time, and so finally I just said fuck it, and I built it. And it's actually really funny because the color scheme I kind of like. It's like this gray and this whitish gray kind of like blended together. And really, it's iron blocks with smooth stone. And the iron blocks is mainly because I obviously have an iron farm that produces me unlimited iron. So I'm able to use iron blocks as decoration. And so I built this tower. And that, like I said, the color scheme I went with stripes of like the colors. I made lots of big windows. Might even one day come in here and maybe do a little bit more work on this to actually fill it in. I created by Murder and Murder, which is me, September 23rd, 2022. This is the Light of Galadriel, which is actually from Lord of the Rings, if you know anything about Lord of the Rings. But today I turned 32 years old. Cheers to the future. And I just sometimes on like important days and cool days or things I want to remember, I build stuff. So like I built this and put that sign down to kind of, you know, just be a memory. Now this island here, I really like. I really like this whole thing, to be honest. This is probably one of my more favorite builds, just because of two reasons. One, the whole entire rock island was like this. Some of it had dirt inside of it that I kind of dug out and turned it all into just stone. I kind of feel like with it, you have this like coastline, this like steep coastline over here that I probably will do some terraforming on, remove some of those dirts and put more actual stone in there, make it look like a maybe like northern coast of California where it's like mountainy and there's like cliffs that butt up against the ocean. And so they have this like bulging out stone island that's like not a part of the mainland. I kind of enjoyed that, so I just terraformed it. That's just all I did in the beginning. I just wanted to terraform it. And once I terraformed it, then that's why I was like, oh, you know what? A lighthouse would be actually really dope here. So I built this little bridge here that goes over top of the water and then takes you up the stairs, and then obviously you turn and you go up there and you got your front door and everything like that. But the other reason I like this because I wasn't a huge fan on the color scheme once I had built it. I was like, I don't know, the stripe just doesn't look that great when you're up on it. I'm not really sure why, but for some reason I really like the way it looks from far away. I think the colors the colors go great together. It actually looks like what a lighthouse would look like. Um, I kind of don't like the top. I don't like how there's no like filler between that, like where it sticks out really far and where it goes down. But it's actually more or less just that, like the things that I used, um, which were metal bars, iron bars or whatever. They don't show up as well. Like um, they render. They don't render. So like right now you look and it looks like you can just see the glowstone that's being used as light and that there's nothing there. But I can assure you, if we fly past it, boom, we just got close enough there. It does have a cage, so it's like I did put the detail in there. The game just struggles at times from far away to actually be able to show you all that detail that you did put into it. So it kind of sucks in halfway part, but it's just a game, and unfortunately, I would enjoy if there was more than just me playing in this world, but it is just me, and so I don't really have to worry too much about what other people are seeing, I guess, besides the fact of clearly I am now live streaming it, so it's being shown that way. But this is the wool complex. I fucked up the word wool. This is the wool complex. This is actually the original wool farm that I built. I've added a lot to it recently within the last couple months, just mainly because I was working on that sign. I had that tiny little wool farm over at my um, industrial district, but it was actually producing like all colors and not just black and white, which originally was obviously with building that big white platform that needed just black and white. So I came over here, I worked on changing all this up a little bit. And so as you can see, this is a minecart ran automatic wool farm. Oops, I fell. Alright. Find a way out of here. There we go. That's a mess because, like I said, I'm adding to it, and it's bigger. It's a little bigger than it was when I originally started. But yeah, so essentially, as you can see here, there's these pods. Now, initially, when I built this thing originally, as you can see, the white is where I stopped. So, like, I built this whole white complex, and essentially it's literally set up so the grass grows on that brown grass block there. When it does, the sheep eats the grass, growing wool. And as the minecart passes over top of this red button here, it activates the dispenser that fires off one of the shears that shears the sheep. Then its wool lands on the ground, and then those mine carts we saw moving underneath, they go around and they pick up the wool and dump them off in a chest. So that's the same cart. So essentially, the same cart that triggers the sheep to be sheared as the same cart that picks up the wools, just making it more efficient. But originally, when I was just trying to make that big white area, I had this whole area just white. So it was white sheep there, white sheep here, white sheep here, white sheep here, white sheep here, white sheep over there. I mean, it was just like, it was nothing but white sheep everywhere. So collected all the white we needed, got just a little bit extra, and now I have it set up so that now we don't need just white. I'm going to change the roof on this side over here to light gray because it will match then, but essentially I'm just going to completely repeat. It's actually going to look like this one instead of this one. This was my very first one I built where it's got fence posts in the back, but the problem is because of this block only being like a little chunk of an area, the wool can actually land in this back corner. So actually you have to use more minecart tracks to cover more distance when you use this post versus if you use a solid block like this, where now the wool can't fall back in this back lane. Now I don't need a minecart that travels in this lane because there's nothing that it has to worry about picking up in that lane. So I won't change these because I have these ones set up so they do here. Right here, you're going to see it. So boom, the sheep just ate the grass that grew, so he just got his wool. Once a minecart comes flying through here, right there, boom, hit the button, picked up, or it sheared the sheep. The wool falls on the ground, but unfortunately there was the other minecart was already traveling underneath, so it already picked it up. But yeah, essentially the wool just falls down there. Then the other minecart flies by, boom. Okay, here we go again. Maybe we'll see the wool fall down this time. And there it goes. Yeah, so right there you can see it bouncing up right there, and it will disappear here in a moment. As soon as the minecart goes underneath of the dirt, it will automatically pick it up, and there it goes. And it picked it up, and it goes through, and that's how the system works. Oh, here we got some over here too. There it goes, just picked up that one, and so it goes through. And so now we got white, light gray, then we got gray, now we have black, and that's all the colors I'm currently collecting because I haven't finished any of these to actually like be collecting things yet, but obviously we have a row of white here. I don't know what colors I'm going to go with, like what's next. You know, these ones kind of gradiently, whatever. They go in like a color scheme, so you know it's like white gradient. The gradient color scheme is white to light gray to black. But you know, obviously there's more than that. There's blue, yellow, green, red, orange, purple, violet, turquoise, cyan, all kinds of other colors. So I have to just kind of figure out where and how I'm going to expand from there. But these two sheep will be immortalized. I have one's Papa and one's Mama, because Papa and Mama here have literally been bred together to make every single sheep you see here. So actually Papa and Mama, there's 5 per row, so we have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Yep. So 25 children Papa and Mama have made. And so because of that, they are going to be glorified and remembered forever as being the special people they are for providing me with the sheep I need. But I've built this pattern all the way to here. Clearly this will be the last one I have before I will have to expand more. But I'm actually just going to finish the building off here and then continue with this pattern. Let's just go over here. Continue with that pattern, but over here, going down this way between this building and these buildings here, mainly because of this over here. This is an idea of something that I've had for a long time. I've never actually built it, and I probably will one day. I just have yet to. Essentially, where that dirt and everything's been removed is going to be a barn, and then I'm going to try to breed up every single color horse there is, because there are like he's a white horse, and so you have white horses, but then you have a white horse that might have gray polka dots, and then you have white horses that have brown polka dots and black polka dots, and then you have white horses that have gray feet but white bodies, and then you have horses that are gray bodies but white feet, and there's like all these color combinations of different horse colors that they added to the game a long time ago. So my whole idea was like I wanted to go through and breed every single color scheme there was, but instead of making them special and like trying to breed the best of each color, I'll just breed one of every color, build a massive horse stable that would hold all the horses in it. This is a grandstand, because I have a bunch of stables or saddles in there. This will be the grandstands where like people would sit here and watch. But then essentially, as you can see from the signs and where I have markers placed off, each little area is like its own little competition. So this is going to be a big flat area that's going to be like a stage that will be a showroom. So you can just bring the horse up, put them essentially like I have that one over there on a lead, and just essentially show it off and get everybody to judge via how they think your horse looks. Then you have the speed test, which will go between these two blocks to the end down here, and essentially you'll start. It will be redstone controlled, but you'll start and you'll have your horse placed up here, and then when you'll like a piece of string tripwire or like a pressure plate, and then it will time the horse until you cross this line, and then it will tell you how fast you were traveling. And then lastly, over here, we're going to have the jump test, which essentially is going to be like a row of 1 block high, which all horses can travel over 1 block high, so that will be easy. Then the next will be 2 blocks high, and then the next will be 3 and 4 and 5 and 6, and essentially going higher and higher to see what's the highest jump you can get, because those are your 3 categories essentially that you have for horses. You have how a horse looks, how fast the horse is, and how high can the horse jump. Those are your 3 attributes that you can get. So that's why I kind of built this area for that. I built this a long time ago before I'd really kind of started turning this into like a secondary industrial district for more like things that weren't mob related. So like obviously a sheep farm that doesn't require needing to worry about mob spawning, or a farm which, you know, again, it doesn't matter if there's bad guys spawning around here, and you know that doesn't affect anything. So then next, what we got over here, it's not planted. I haven't planted it for a little bit, but essentially it's just a very large, oh, I guess I did plant some of the wheat down there because I'm in extremely large need of it, an extremely large amount of wheat. And this essentially is what this farm is built for. It only grows crops. You can only grow wool. Wool. I'm an idiot. I'm not thinking of what I'm saying before I'm saying it, essentially. But you can only grow wheat, beetroots, potatoes, or carrots. And essentially, I started building a second one over here, but just never finished it. Like, I never went through and actually made sure to, you know, make sure it was all good to go to plant. So, of course, I can't actually plant anything over here. But essentially, I was going to set it up so that I would have one thing planted here, one thing planted here, another thing planted over there, another one planted over there. Essentially, there would be a whole bunch of the same areas, but the reality of it is the amount of items that you actually get, like the amount of shit that you can grow in this one big ass automatic harvesting farm, is quite a lot. And you know, besides like trading, that's essentially the only thing you need large abundance of, like the plant-based materials, because you know, like potatoes, you might be eating potatoes, but they don't really saturate hunger very well. That's why eating cooked meat is your best bet in Minecraft. And that's same with carrots. Now, carrots do provide a lot of saturation in food if you make them golden carrots, but I don't currently have a gold farm, so to me it's easier for me to make meat and cook it than it is to make golden carrots. But that's a future thing. Actually, for a long time there I was eating only golden carrots, but like I said, I don't have a gold farm, so I'm essentially constantly having to mine gold and waste all of my gold on golden carrots, or I, you know, create and make a bunch of emeralds from trading with villagers, and then I trade the villagers for the golden carrots, and in reality it takes me half the amount of time to just kill a bunch of cows and cook the meat than it does to literally go the route of doing all the extra trading to get the emeralds to then trade for the golden carrots. So that's why as of now it's not really like something that I see that I need or I'm worried about right now. Once I get a gold farm or some other ability of getting gold on more of a, you know, whenever I need it, essentially, you know, that'll be different. But for now, I'm fine with just the meat. So because of that, it's like after I built the second one, I realized there's really even no need for the second one. I don't really need two plants growing at the same time. So essentially, it's like, say I want a bunch of carrots, or I want a bunch of potatoes to grow because I'm going to trade with a villager that has a potato thing. I just come in here, plant this whole entire thing, harvest it. By the time I harvest it, it gives me like over 2 stacks of potatoes. You just replant it with potatoes again, so on and so forth. But I'm going to show you how it works. Obviously, it's not like the craziest thing in the world. It's very rudimentary in the reality of like what it is and what it does. But you just flick the switch here, it turns on the dispensers, water comes out, it washes down. As the water hits the plants, they break. As you can see, and then they get pushed to the end, in which there are dispensers that pick up the items. And then all you have to do is come over here and flick this twice to pick the water back up. And then the water slowly drains its way all the way down back to the bottom down there, leaving the farmland behind. obviously, as you can see, there were a few, they, essentially, what was happening was the water, when I first built this, because I put only 3 dispensers, and I didn't really, like, build this to the exact specifications of what I probably should have, the water was actually traveling to this spot, and then to this spot. But it seems they updated something recently that changed the way the water physics works again. So essentially the water is only making it to the end here in a one solid form. It's not making it to these areas anymore. So there is some stuff that gets pushed onto these cobblestone that, you know, essentially can still be picked up by hand, but if I break these blocks, I don't know if there's dispensers under there or not. So I don't have any dispensers with me, so I'm not that worried about breaking them at the top of my head. But you know, essentially, you know, it just drops them into dispensers, and then you got your big box here. Obviously, I was growing beetroot because I'm pretty sure that the villagers, or one of the villagers that was over here, Minecraft has this weird thing. Let me explain something strange to you, okay? I don't understand how or when this happened, but essentially, I had, when I built this big thing here, and I was harvesting the things I needed, I put 2 farmer villagers here. Built these 2 little shacks, made them essentially identical looking shacks, except for this because a creeper had blown up. And I built these 2 identical shacks and literally set it up so I could just come over here and I could just open this trap door. And actually, weirdly enough, yeah, there it is. So this is like the weirdest 2 parts about it, right? So essentially, if you open the trapdoor and you're standing inside of it, you can just walk through it. And it makes literally no sense because, like, when you're out of it, you can't walk into it. So it's like it acts like it's a solid block until you do it, and then it's like this. Which is just more or less the funny idea because, you know, people always use, I know it's more or less PC, but people always use trapdoors to, like, put you into the animation of being in the swim. But you totally can't do that here because trapdoors don't work the same in Bedrock. But anyways, you just do it like that, and then naturally, you know, you'll be able to click on the villager to do whatever it is that you need to. That's actually kind of cool. But it's whatever it is that you need to do. But here's the bothersome part about both these guys here, okay? Both these guys that you see before you were both once farmers. Henceforth why they got a composter, because that's what a farmer uses to trade with, is a composter. At some point, Minecraft sent out an update, don't know when, don't know where it changed or what else it changed, because, you know, naturally it was, I don't spend a ton of time on this area, so one day I just noticed that both my farmers got converted into something different. This guy is a wool, like a loom guy. He deals with like wool and stuff like that. So he would need a loom. He's a shepherd, so he needs a loom to work. And this guy is what is he? A blacksmith? He's a mason, stone mason. So he needs a stone cutter to work. None of those items are nearby. So how they got turned into these guys, I have no idea. But the more confusing part was these were both max level farmers that when they turned into a different profession, they became max level of that other profession. So I have never once traded with this mason, and I have never once traded with this shepherd, but they're both max level because they were both max level farmers at one point. So again, I have no idea when Mojang fucked all that up, but that's just super great. So, you know, initially, both these farmers were farmers that traded beetroot. And so since they aren't farmers anymore, they don't need the goddamn beetroot anymore. So I essentially just stopped growing it because, you know, again, there's literally no point in growing a bunch of an item if you're not even going to be using that item. Beetroot is only essentially useful for the fact that you can make beetroot stew with it. And again, I have food covered by using meat. So I literally have zero reason to keep the beetroot. Don't have a trash can nearby, and I don't really want to carry these on me, so I'm just kicking those over there for now. Got way too many beetroot seeds for what I'll ever need. So you can see, though, out of what I had, though, I did get myself 48 more seeds. And I'm still looking for wool because of the more recent farm that... wool! I keep saying wool! I'm looking for wheat. I need lots of wheat, so that's why I've been coming over here and making sure to plant. So every time I notice that that's full, I can, you know, take it down. I'm essentially growing wheat all over the place, so it's really not that I need to be super anal about making sure I'm harvesting this specific area, but it looks like we had enough to finish the area that I had, and enough to add 2 more, which is a little strange. Usually seeds will give you a little bit more than that, but this time they did not. And this is the first village I ever found. I essentially stole the villagers for this. This is also the first bee farm I ever made. A little bit of a cactus farm here. My first little house here. It's really nothing special. The villagers themselves, some of them are max level, some of them aren't. This was the first map I started assembling of the area. Actually, now that I look at it, I don't think I locked these maps. And because of that, I can never take them down because they haven't been updated. None of the farms are still there, so like literally all that I've been talking, gabbing about, showing you these last, like recently, none of it's there. So this is still what all of the world looked like before I had any of it. So essentially right here is where the shacks are for those villagers I was just looking at. The first crop farm goes right here. Second crop farm goes right here. Then the wool farm goes over here. And then the horse area is right here in this open spot. So it's actually really cool. That's why I do like about maps. I do like the idea that you can essentially, you know, open a map up and, you know, take a picture. You can see all the crops are still have grown in there, where, you know, whereas I just looked and half of it isn't even planted. This one you can see where it's all planted. You know, this is like a time capsule of history. You know, this is my world before I fucked with it, and you know, there's a lot that's changed. Oh look, they're all over. That's amazing. Didn't even notice. I was like standing here looking at all the map, and every single villager that's out here is just out here chilling. Like, what's up, dude? What you looking at? What you guys doing over here? What you seem to be looking at, my friend? What are you? Your fire aspect 2, projectile protection 1. Yeah, but you know, so then this is that area that I was just talking about. You got your villagers. I got a few things. I don't know. I got my first skeleton spawner that I ever found that I built it's right over there. It's right on top of this hill over here, just through those trees. It's really not that important. I was gonna show it to you, but it's like in reality, it's just a skeleton spawner. It's nothing special. I'll take you to the road that isn't finished because it has yet to make it to the town. Here's a little bit of a overview of everything, but right there you can see that line. That's where the road will be coming out at. I have done some extensive work on it. I just have yet to finish it. This is the sweet little building that I built. I kind of quite like it. It's more like a little pavilion, and it's made of bricks and stone stairs and smooth stone and all kinds of little things. As it looks quite well, like I said, when and this is just your midway point. There's literally nothing in that direction. Like I've never built anything in that direction, and there's no real anything special for me to go that way. But essentially, I will put a extension that way, and we'll build something out there eventually. But obviously, in this direction is how you get to the village. This way, up these stairs and down this path, is how we get to the original base, which is I'm about to show you now. And down that path, down this where this train track is leading, down toward that ice and stuff, this is how you get to the new base, or the main base, I should say, because I don't live at the old base anymore, and I live at the new base. This right here that you see set up here, which now that I think about it more, also has dispensers that I could come over here and steal, because dispensers are a pain in the ass to make, and if I can easily obtain them by just taking these ones that are just sitting here doing nothing, I will do so. But essentially this was a smaller version of the crop farm I was going to make over here, because I didn't have any of that stuff over there when I was building this stuff. This is literally like the first place that I landed and was like, I'm building a base. I'm still going to at some point. It's one of the to-do projects that I just have yet to obviously actually do. But I'm going to terraform this entire hill into the nether. I want to put some of the nether into the overworld, and so I want to make all of this here. I want to make this hill and this hill here, and make it all out of netherrack, and kind of make it look like it's my nether in the overworld area. This is my original cow farm, original sheep farm. I don't know how this horse keeps having this ability to get up on top of things, because he's not supposed to be able to do this. See, he falls down in there, and somehow he knows to jump up on the wool to get out, but no other animal knows how to do that. Like, he's not supposed to be able to do it, but he does it anyways. So, I think this is the mountain, is it not? No, this is not the mountain. Anyways. This is my original farm, because birch trees can only grow to a maximum height, unlike any other tree that can grow really fucking tall. And you can mine, or you can chop down even the tallest birch trees without having to like build up to get to the top ones. So essentially that's why this is one big massive birch tree setup. And when you build them like this, where there's multiple saplings in one row like this, it's set up so that way once I cut these trees down and the leaves start to despawn, once enough area despawns, this tree will automatically grow. So I can go through here and cut this row down, and I can come over here and chop this row down. And when I start chopping this third row down, by that point the first row is decayed enough where these trees start to grow. So essentially by the time I make it my way all the way to the end down here, the trees down here have already regrown. And then you just make sure you're also planting as you're going, and you essentially just having a constant cycle of wood going through. The name of this world is Bunkske, like a bunker, like Bunkise. This is a big map of my area. This is another reason why I like this one too. If you see this green dot, this is where Bunkske is, the town of Bunkske. The village is over here, like right in this area here. Actually, it might be this here. Yeah, I think the village is this here, because there's the mountain right here. So the best part is all of this right here. So like literally all of this water right here, all of this and this square that I'm essentially making out for you right now, it's all gone, because this is all my new base. So none of this has been updated. So this is still original map territory. This is when the very first time I ever made a map, and I expanded it to its maximum so you can see a whole lot. I mean, I have built my mega base to the point where this big mountain over here is literally got part of my mega base built into it. And it starts over here. So we're talking like, this is a very, very large area. Because if you think about it, obviously the green character thing there is over top of the base, so it's kind of hard to see. But literally what you're looking at here, all this little, how little this little gray area is that you see here, that is all of this right here. It's all of this that you see around me. That's all in this gray color, like this here, all of that there, this building. There's another building back there behind it that's also gray. These things are all gray. You know, like literally all of this stuff is what makes up all of this tiny little bit of this map right here. So that just goes to show you the scale of, like, there's a lot of stuff here that's not small, and yet on the map it looks small. So the idea that I'm literally showing you, this square that I'm essentially cutting off, this whole area of the map, this is the mega base, and this is, what? Why are you chasing after me? I literally did nothing to you. It's gonna kill me. This is hard. I play on hard mode because I've played Minecraft for literally so long, so many years, and it's really not given me much challenge for a lot of years. I've literally played Minecraft since the day it came out in 2009, so I am a true veteran at this game. And because of that, everybody obviously hits much harder and hard than they do on other ones. And you also get hungry twice as fast and some other stuff. Unfortunately, a little bit of spoilers because I can't help that you totally could see it in the background. But yes, I built a massive pyramid. This is part of the mega base. A little bit more might be revealed the closer we get to it, unfortunately. I'll just try not to look too much, but this here is a massive ravine. This is what drew me into this area in the first place, with this massive ravine. I was going to build an underground city. This was the whole point of this world. That's why the name of the world is Bunksky. Was literally, I was going to come here, I was going to build a bunker underground. Whee! Splash. And I was going to fill it with all kinds of different animals, and I was going to fill it, which you could see as I was like removing parts of this down here. I was going to start building a village like built into the walls, so I could have a whole, like a city built around this like grassy utopia that essentially I built to save the animals from the impending doom of whatever's happening up above, and henceforth why we've sealed off the bunker. And but I started obviously building it. I just never finished it. And as you can see, I bred a whole bunch of frogs because this area is got some slime chunks, and I often see some slimes around here. And so yeah, so they're just here to eat any of the baby slimes, just to pretty much get rid of them. I got this undead horse that I brought down here. I got a polar bear that I brought down here. His name's Coca-Cola because, you know, he's the Coca-Cola bear. We got Turtle. I don't know if Turtle got a name or not. Yeah. Harry Houdini. Actually, funny enough, I know why I named him Harry Houdini. I don't remember 100% the whole situation anymore, but essentially I put Harry Houdini down here, and then literally for like 3 months straight, I would come down here and he was gone. He just didn't exist, and it was very confusing because he definitely did exist. Actually, there's 2 of them that were down here, so that way I would add a breeding pair. And then one day I came down here and he was here. He just was there, and I was like, wow, my turtle came back. At least one of them did. And then I came down here a couple months later, and he was gone. And then I came back, and he was here, and I was like, what the fuck? So I named him Harry Houdini because he likes to disappear for large chunks of time and then come back. And then I just put an axolotl down here just because, you know, I was actually putting fish in here, and then I forgot the axolotls eat all the fish, so there's no more fish, and there's only the axolotl. Yeah, and then okay, so I was telling you originally about that that skeleton farm that I made that I didn't show you because it's really not super impressive. That tunnel right there takes you to it. So I've built underground roads that take you everywhere. This here, that you see that cobblestone and that sand that's sticking up, that's blocking a doorway that takes you very close to where my mega base is. I want to take you, actually, I guess for the fact that we're already here, and I already showed you the road, so you know where the road is. I'll just come over here, dig out the sand, block this back off because I don't want nobody escaping. And then we'll run, jump our way down here. Oh, I'm gonna get really hungry really fast, but if you didn't also know that it's actually faster to run and jump bouncing your head off the wall than it is or bouncing your head off the ceiling than it is just running. You actually move faster if you do this than if you just run. It's really weird. Doesn't really make a lot of sense because it uses a lot of hunger jumping and running at the same time. But surprisingly, I for some reason didn't have it. But anyways. This villager was moved over here because I was trying to move him to my base, but never got there. He got to here, and that's where he got to. This was an area that I've obviously been taking apart. I believe this is a spider spawner. Yeah, it's a cave spider spawner. I think there's another spawner around here somewhere. I think it's another spider spawner, or it could be something else. I don't really remember. Anyways, there's a few things around here that are pretty cool. But if we can, oh wait, this isn't it. If we come back over here, yeah, right, and you continue down this path, it eventually leads to some stairs that leads you up, and essentially you do come out to my mega base. But I've recently added something down here that I will show you. If I can think about how I would have to get there, I might be able to get there from here, actually. Maybe. Just maybe, because... Maybe I'm not going to be able to find out how to get there from here, because... Wait, what's this? Another spider? Another spider spawner. I got a carrot. Oh, and look at this area I've not been to before, because it's all black. It won't guarantee that I've never been through here before, just I've never run through here and planted torches, which is a little surprising, because when you see the top surface of how much I've actually been around this area, you'll be very surprised to think that I did not discover that stuff. But anyways, I guess since I can't seem to find the way I need to, I can just exit my way. Oops, why'd you do that, you dummy? Oh, go on out of here. Oh, come on. Stupid fucking cobwebs. Freaking cobwebs. I'm sorry, I shouldn't cuss. I need to watch my cursing on the live streaming. Alright, now that I kept going the wrong way and probably bored you with that weird me getting lost, let me run to the top of these here stairs real quick so that I have the ability to show you the awesomeness that you're about to see. I'm going to stare at the ground so you can't see what I'm about to show you, because now this is the mega base. We're coming up to the mega base. We're not coming to like the main entrance. This is just like an exit. And there's just going to be a whole lot of stuff surrounding us when we get up here. Alright, you ready? You ready? And a slow reveal. Let's start with something like this, because you can see a little bit. First, all you see is a very tall black pillar. This is a future build that has yet to be built, but is slowly being built. I have deforested this entire area. there's not a single tree for a very long way. I mean, yes, you can see trees over there, but there's a lot of no trees between here and there, and there were a lot of trees between here and there. But first, as you slowly turn, you're going to see we have ourselves a bamboo farm over here that supplies bamboo to this mega structure above us, which is a massive, not completely finished because I kind of realized there was no need for all that I was doing, but this is a massive cactus farm. Essentially was trying to make it a different XP farm because smelted cactus gives you green dye, and green dye pulled out of a furnace evidently is the highest amount of XP that you can get from any item smelted in the game. So I was trying to make like a rudimentary XP farm, so if I ever needed XP to mend my tools, I could just go over there and get it. Obviously, from the distance, we saw ourselves the pyramid. I will travel to the top of the pyramid because for the full reveal of the main base, it would be much cooler to see it from somewhere up high instead of at ground level. The bottom of the pyramid is 64 blocks wide. So, it's got a very large... This was all water. I built this over top of water, as you can see from... I guess you can't really tell from up here because it butts into the ice and stuff, but this was all water, and I put grass all over the water, and then I built the pyramid over top of it. And slowly and surely, we will start to reveal from the top here. So there's Bunksky. You can see Bunksky from the top of the pyramid. Obviously, you got, Bunksky and everything over there. Then you slowly start to pan. Then you have the roads. So there was the intersection there, my cool little intersection that I built. And, this was obviously the road that I didn't show you the rest of. This was a thing that I pre-planned that I never finished and forgot all about what it even was that I pre-planned, so I can't even build it in the future if I wanted to. This is the start of my castle that is also not finished because I start hundreds of projects and I get bored of working on just one, so I move to the next one. And even though it seems like I have a lot of half-built things, slowly over time, I do decide to start working on them, and I do complete them, and then when they're completed, they look 10 times more badass because usually the idea and the design and or shape of the building that I was building originally will be changed when I come back, because obviously when you build something and then you wait like, a month between building on it again, you might have different ideas, or maybe you saw someone else's build they did on something on a picture online or a video of YouTube or something where somebody did something cool that now you think you could implement into your build. And obviously having not finished the building makes it 10 times easier to actually be able to change things like that. So I gotta take my time and do it as I can. Okay, here it is. This is the whole thing as a whole. It goes really far off into that direction, so you can't really see everything. But yeah, essentially, I will show you all the different angles. This here is actually a machine, this massive building. That's why, it's all kind of covered up now, I guess. But you see this wooden structure that's behind it, and it goes down and around this. This is actually like a path. It's a rideable path that you can get on inside the machine, or inside the building. And then you'll ride down through, you ride underwater, or you ride underground. It takes you down, across. Then you start coming down this way, through this path right here. It brings you down, down, down. Then you get to there, then you get on a minecart. It takes you down, it takes you all the way up the hill. Then at the top of the hill, you fall down into another pathway that takes you all the way down that way. Then you go this way, then you come down this way. As you come down this way, it turns into this tunnel right here that's part of the castle. You go down through, it takes you down into the ground. Then you turn, you come down this way, at this point where I'm pointing here, where there's glass poking up that you can see, you're underwater. You're actually like down here in the water, so you can see all underneath of the the pyramid, because like I said, this is all water before I put all that grass there, so you can actually see underneath it there. And it travels down all the way to here, and it stops, and it goes this way. It goes down, down, down underground, all the way through there. It stops, turns, goes this way underground, stops, then you get off, you get onto another rail. It takes you all the way up, spiraling all the way back up, and then it takes you back inside the building. There is a purpose for reason why you would ride all that, and there's a purpose for reason as to why I built it, but I never really finished it. In the reality, there are 1,000 easier ways to do the exact same reason why I built all this. So maybe in the future, one day, if I ever work on it again or I want to explain it, I might go into depth and explain it. But this live stream video here is really just more or less a like, hey, look, this is the world that I built 6 years in the makings, because I'm still working on it, I'm still building on it, I'm still expanding on it, and I still plan on building on it for a very long time, but I've never shown it off. It's always me. I'm the only person who's ever seen any of this. So since I had a working microphone and could live stream it, I figured, screw it, let's live stream and make a video showing everybody everything that I've done. So I built that first, then I built the castle, then I built that purple structure, and again, these aren't finished, but this is the order of how I, like, when things start showing up. Then I built this area, which the entrance to this pyramid is actually going to be underwater, because I have an ocean or whatever I forget what the damn thing's called. I have a heart of the sea under here. So if you look in the upper right hand corner of my screen, you can see the little eyepiece there. It's called the Luck of the Sea charm. That's what this thing is down here. And essentially this ball creates a very large area where you can be underwater and you can breathe. So you don't have to worry about going to the surface to breathe. You have automatic underwater breathing. And it gives you night vision, because underwater it's harder to see everything. So like if I didn't have night vision right now, we wouldn't be able to see the glass over there. But because I have it, it allows me to be able to see farther. You can see how it gets like dimmer and like, you know, everything like fades off there. All of that effect would have happened like much closer if we didn't have night vision. But essentially it's set up in an area where, you know, essentially no matter what, no matter where you are underwater underneath that pyramid. I mean, now we're past the pyramid and we're in the ice spikes area. You know, I still have that effect. So it goes to, it has an area of effect of a very large area, and on top of that, I could even make it bigger in the long run if I want to. It's not full, and it needs a couple blocks going from here to here around the whole entire thing, and that will allow me to have even farther distance. But in reality, I have everywhere around here that's water that I would need to get into or be around. It gives me that coverage, so it's really not that big of a deal. But once you get out of water, you lose the night vision and the obviously the water breathing, because you're not in water. But yeah, so the entrance for the pyramid's going to be underwater. I'm going to continue the pyramid down through the water. Yeah, you see how the night vision wore off and now we can't see underwater. But we're going to build the pyramid down, and we're going to have the entrance here. So this is actually an aquarium staircase. It's just a staircase made of glass full of water, so it doesn't have any fish in it now, but you know, fish will be put in it, kind of like this one down here. I put a bunch of tropical fish and different coral blocks inside of. Essentially, you will come down these stairs here, and it will lead you down, and you'll turn here. These stairs are just placed placemaker blocks. They're just there to tell me like I'm building it so it comes down and around. It was going to come off this direction, but being as of what's over here now, I'm not putting it there. Turn the stairs this way, then we'll have a big archway here that will essentially block the water from coming through, but will literally be the split. So you'll walk down here and then you'll walk through this gateway, and when you go from this side to the next side, you'll then be underwater, because at that point you'll be able to breathe and you'll be able to see, and then you'll have your entrance into the pyramid and anything else. But all of this, the flooring design that that you see here, this is all recent. I did this literally within the last couple days. Just updating, trying to make things look better. I dug this massive pit out because this was, as you can see from that glass there, from that glass over to essentially up there where you can see water, this was all water. So I used gravel to drain out all of the water. If you don't believe me, let me show you all the gravel that I have, because trust me, I filled this entire area you see here with gravel and then mined it out with a shovel and essentially just made it down to close to the even level with the ground. Started making creeper faces out of copper blocks and as the walls. Then recently they just added these mud block bricks that I really like the way the colors blend together. Put red around it. I didn't really like it at first, but the more I look at it, I kind of like it now. So I'm probably gonna do like the red around there on this one, and then we'll put another one here, and then there'll be one here, and there'll be one there. And then essentially we'll fill in the wall around them with these brown bricks. Do that all the way up and make it look more like this is a building, a wall for a building or whatever. You can see these doorways, obviously, that I've built that are like here. This is because all of this that you see, all this dirt and everything, this will all be removed. That's why these stairs are actually here. We're going to be removing all of the area until the top of the stairs. So actually you can see right there, there's a bottom of a beacon. I've never killed the wither, so I don't actually have a wither star. And because of that, I don't really need a beacon, but because I had all the iron blocks, I just built a beacon where I wanted a beacon to be, so that if that was ever a day where I eventually did get myself a beacon, I could put it there and already have the max level beacon built. And but yeah, so essentially I'm removing all of this dirt and stone all the way even with the edge of that beacon, and turning this all into massive storage. That's what I've been building. That's what I'm continuing to building. We're going to obviously add some more going through here, but like this is moss. So like all of my moss blocks that I'll have will go in here. You know, a lot of these don't have large amounts of blocks at the moment, but essentially I just want one area, because I have all these areas, all these different small bases scattered around that are full of blocks that I'm never going to use or I've forgotten about, so I remake a different set of those same blocks because I need them, and like I said, forgotten that I've already made them somewhere else. And so in reality, I just need one central area that everything that I have bulk of can all be located. So that's why I decided to turn this area down here into bulk storage. I'll explain more about the doors here in a second, but you know, we got moss, we have granite, we have diorite, we have andesite. This is the stone, this is the cobblestone, this is the sandstone, this is the grass block, this is the gravel, and this is the sand. So obviously I just, you know, I got some sand and put some sand in there. Got gravel, filled in that one, filled in that one. Then dirt. Dirt we filling in with two separates, because I used grass blocks as the indicator, but on this side we're putting all the actual grass blocks, and on this side we're putting all the actual dirt blocks. Because in reality, with stone, when you have stone like this and you mine it like this, it turns to cobblestone. So essentially, I didn't need to put this here. I could have just put all my stone in here and all my cobblestone in here if I wanted to. But I use a lot of stone and I use a lot of cobblestone in my builds. So that's why I made them both separate. So you have all your stone and it goes in here. And then when you put stone in an oven or in a furnace and you smelt it again, it turns into smooth stone. And so that's why the stone category is going to be full of stone and smooth stone, because I use a lot of stone and smooth stone, as you can literally tell that this bridge and that entire building and that outline and all this other stuff is all made out of smooth stone. So cobblestone is another huge block that I use a lot and I love building with. So I just made it its own thing. Because I do expect to have a lot of it, and a variant of cobblestone that you can't make but you can find in the world is mossy cobblestone. So any mossy cobblestone I get, I'll put in that side chest too. And it's the same thing with, we have over here we got smooth sandstone, and on this side we have just regular sandstone. And so some of these are going to have multiple things that it can store, like grass blocks is obviously a dirt block with grass on top of it, so it makes only sense that you have all your grass blocks with dirt on top of it, or I mean dirt blocks with your grass on top of it, while also having a large area for just dirt. These unfortunately all you can get is andesite, so these chests will always only have nothing but just andesite or diorite or granite or moss or whatever. But essentially these here, these outdoor ones, these are the main big bulk items. These are the ones that I have the most of, I'm seeing the most of, I'm acquiring the most of. Once you get past the doorways, that's when you get into more rare, better blocks. So I don't have enough to finish it, but this is where you're going to have your lapis, so you'll collect both lapis blocks and deep slate lapis blocks, copper and deep slate copper blocks, coal and deep slate coal blocks, iron and deep slate iron blocks, because when you get an iron farm, iron becomes very pointless, so it's very easy just to collect all the ores and just collect them in large amounts. This is my ores chest. So these are, I still put the iron. I still got to put the rest of the iron away. I got some more coal. Here's some deep slate lapis that we could put away. We need to build a area for the diamonds. We need to build one for the gold. And essentially, and that's why these ones are inside these doors, is because it's supposed to be like the inside building is where stuff is like safe at. So that's why the more expensive bulky items are going to go in here. And here's another ravine that I've covered up. There's actually a couple spawners down there that I've used for XP. It's really too much to show in one video. I mean, this video would be multiple hours if I went part by part and showed you what every single thing in every single place did and all that other stuff. I mean, but there's this little tower I built on top of it. There's this dope library thing that I built, because this is my main base. So this is where everything was taking place. Welcome to my main base. This is where I hung out. This is where the machine drops you off when you get to the end. This is where you enter the machine at. This is all my chests that, like I said, I just have stuff scattered everywhere. They were much more full at one point. I've just been doing a good job at trying to sort things recently. So, all these furnaces, because I was, having to smelt all this smooth stone that's everywhere, or the glass and shit. So that's why it's all this stuff's here. This is my first villager I ever converted from a zombie villager, at least from this world. He lives in my base. He's a cleric. I sell him zombie flesh, and he gives me emeralds, and that's a good way to get a little XP that way. These pillager banners is from every single raid that I've ever accidentally started here, because since this guy has a bed, it's considered this to be a village. This was my epic iron armor. This is the iron armor that I essentially wore for the first like 3 years of playing this game before I finally got to upgrade to diamond and then eventually into netherite once netherite came out. But the helmet and the boots don't have a name, but double pits to chesty and stanky legs are the name of the chest plate and the leggings. And from time to time when I die and my items get thrown all about and I have to go recover them somewhere, I'll grab this armor because it's still good armor. It's just iron, so it's a little less protective than obviously the armor I have on. These are all the music discs that I've been able to find in the world. I can't really say they're all of them because I do have a pig step one and something else somewhere else, but they're not here. So this is at least every disc that I've ever found that's here. So, as you can see, I've had 3 yellow ones. I've had 2 black ones, 1 blue one, 1 light green with yellow, and 1 just green. Actually, my pig step might be in here. I don't know if you have to have an empty hand or not. By the looks of it, no. So pig step might be somewhere else, or I lost it already. But anyways, but yeah. So this is my enchanting area, as you can see, and this is just some armors that I had made and was enchanting different things. Trying to build the best armor set. This that you see here. This is what I built last week. So first week into the new year, I finally came over here and built these cells. These have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think there's 10 cows per chamber on each side. Essentially just go through, give them all wool, or what's with me and saying wool? Give them all wheat. Every time I want to say wheat, I say wool. I have no idea why. But you give them wheat, and they breed, and then the babies fall into the water and rush into this area. And then as they grow up, when they're all grown up, they're standing down there in that cobblestone area. And then all you have to do is come down here, come to this here switch, flip the switch, it retracts the pistons, drops the cows down on the magma blocks, and they burn to death. And then this minecart that's spinning in a circle picks up any of the items that was dropped and dumps them into this chest. Henceforth, the 52 leather and the 53 raw beef that we already had, and then the 25 that I'm eating on came from this farm as well. And that's how I've been getting my meat. I just also built a second pod that I haven't completely finished, but it's almost there. Pretty much everything's built. I just need to put the magma blocks and the pistons in, and then obviously come in here and fill it up with cows. And then at that point, I will be able to rotate between breeding these ones, come over here, breed these ones, come over here and breed these ones. And by the time I finish breeding these last set of cows over here, these cows over here are ready to breed, and I can breed them again, then breed them again, then breed them again. Essentially just try to set it up so I could get as much meat making done as I can. But then if we enter back through here, we go this way. This is my, my portal room for my nether portal. This is part of the castle. I'm not going to go into the castle or show you any of the stuff I really built around the castle because it's not really that crazy. I've done a good job. I enjoy building this castle. It's got like a river that flows between it. It's got some lava that comes out the side. This that I'm about to show you is it's inside the castle. Technically, it was built way before the castle was ever thought of, which was the very first bee farm I ever made. This one's automatic, so once the nest fills up with honey, the observer, or not the observer, there's a redstone repeater behind this that picks up the redstone strength of the amount of honey that's in it, and that triggers a dispenser that triggers a bottle that runs through, dispensing the bottle down into here, and this is how I collect honey to create honey blocks. And then those ones that you see in the back are set up on the old school way of lighting the fire underneath that creates smoke, so then the bees can't come out and attack you. And then I run through there with shears and I shear those, so that way I can get honeycomb to either make honeycomb blocks or just to have honeycomb in general. This is my first dog I ever tamed. He doesn't have a name. He just sits here in this room in this chest, because after I had lived in Bunksky and I built Bunksky, when I decided to move, this was the very first place I moved to, and that was the very first thing I built, was the bee farm. So, but yeah, so then I built obviously things around it. Now you saw my box storage over there and how I designed it and like how I was doing it. That's over here, this purple building. This was obviously after I got my wings and went to the end cities and stuff. I got all this purpur, and I started building this really awesome end city building, which, I mean, I'm not even gonna lie, when I stand here and look at it from the front, it's really cool. Like, it's a really cool design. It was probably the coolest design that I ever came up with for a building. And even like the inside, when you come on the inside and you have these like archways of purpur and stairs and pillars and little, I don't know. I just feel like for all the building textures you see around here, this is definitely by far the one building that I took the most like real time to make it look really cool, and I never finished it, and now I won't even finish it because I have to tear out every single one of these chests and every single one of these hoppers, because this building initially was going to be my massive storage building. But I've henceforth changed all that. So initially how it was going to go was you were going to have your individual blocks. So like, obviously, you have mossy cobblestone here, and here you have your sand, and here you have grass block, gravel, dirt block, cobblestone, stone, smooth stone, stone brick, mossy stone brick, cracked stone brick, andesite, diorite, granite, and then sandstone. And it's just gonna go like that all the way down, where it was just gonna be individual blocks, and it was gonna be on both sides here. Actually, it was gonna be this entire building, to be honest, but it was gonna be 2 main rows for the first part. Essentially, it was gonna be bulk of all my storage, and so that way I could just come down in here. And if I was got a big project I gotta do and I need to build something out of stone, I just come over here and click on the stone chest and take all the stone. Obviously, as you can see, yes, there is a lot of stuff over here that still needs to be collected and moved over into its actual new area over there. But this was really nice because of the way I built it with using this hopper system. When you have a shulker box and you fill it full of a specific item, and so you say you fill it completely full of stone, even though it's obviously really hard to see up top because I didn't make a identifier. Essentially, I'd put all those blocks downstairs that you saw. So say, okay, can't see them from this angle. So for instance, say right here, this one in front of us here is the stone. So we would put a stone block right here. I mean, not literally there. I would remove that purpur that was there and put a stone block, so you would know. So then you would come over here, and this hopper right here, you'd stick your your shulker box on top of this here, and it would drain all the blocks out of the shulker box and automatically fill them inside of the correct chest for you. So this up top spot was supposed to be where you'd run around and place your shulker boxes to actually sort the items, and that, then down here is where you would go to actually retrieve the items if you needed them. I will definitely finish this building. I just won't be using it for that purpose because I decided to change the way in which I would bulk store everything in bulk storage, only mainly because hoppers count as what they call an entity, and entities create lag. So the more hoppers you have, the more lag you're gonna get. And obviously, with the fact that I have, I think it's like 5 or 6 high, and that long of a row of hoppers, we're talking I have about a couple hundred hoppers just in this area here. And then you got a whole nother section over there I wanted, and then I could have added more, and it just would have been a very, very large amount of extra lag and glitchiness that I would be adding to my world just to be able to store my items in this way. So that's essentially why I'm not going to finish building it in that direction, or going to finish to build it into that direction. But it's still, like I said, I really like the idea of the building, the shape and the idea of the building. And then pretty much to finish it off, because there's really not much more buildings left, is what's over here. And essentially, this was another idea that never really is probably going to get finished. It was supposed to be another a castle, but it was going to be out of black stone, and it's supposed to look like like another fortress castle. It was going to surround the entireness of the mountain here, and I was going to build a amusement park on top of the hill, but kind of changed the plans of that. Then I ended up building this like underground city that I actually really like. It's just, again, it just doesn't really add with like why I decided to build all this stuff like this, but yeah, you run all the way down these stairs, very, 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 very far, and here you are. You're about to witness something I have actually not been down here to see this in a very long time. Like, it's been probably about 6 months or so since I've been down here. Welcome to Mikasa. So this is my little house down here. Hey, I'm actually going to take this because I need this, and I've not been coming down here, so there's really no need for this to be down here. And I'm going to take these because that's where my wood chest, my wood shulker box went. This is why having multiple projects can screw you at times. You should definitely take all of these items too, because those are I have areas where I can put all this stuff now. But this is my little house. This is where I've been, at where I've been working or whatever. What's downstairs? I don't remember what's down here. What? Okay. So apparently it was just a hole. Alright. Got this nice path where it's made from andesite and diorite, aligned with stone and mossy cobblestone bricks with moss and, the underground kind of stuff surrounded it. We got ourselves a lava column coming out of the ceiling down to this, like, fountain, essentially, that's surrounded by, deep slate, diamonds and emerald ores that I found while I was down here. This really cool design. This was another area where I took a lot of time and effort to actually make it look cool, and it's actually worked out pretty well. I am going to eventually at some point turn this into an underground village. I just, it's in the future. I made Bungski #1 and never actually made it an underground village, but this one I really do plan and expect to make an underground village because I really like this openness, and this whole area is huge, even though you can't really see it because you can kind of see the wall there and the walls over there. It excuse me, it opens up over there, it opens up through that hole and through that hole over there. There's just a lot of expansion that you really don't have to travel very far for. So that's why I have all this built down here. Really, this is the last of anything I have to show you. I'm going to take all these with me because, like I said, again, I don't really need any of it down here. Obviously, I had it down here so I could build with it. But, but I'm not down here building, and I'm building on other stuff, and I need the shulker boxes because you can never have enough shulker boxes. You're always running out. There's another empty one that I can take. I can throw a couple waters in there because I don't need to carry that many waters on me. I need to come out here and make sure that I pick up these shulkers I did not have the ability to pick up when I broke them just a few minutes ago. And I should probably grab some of this stuff too. Like, I might leave it for now just because, again, I was really coming to show you guys this stuff more or less than I was to actually like come down here to do the work and to get it. And actually, now that I think about it, one of the other major things that I was in need of, oh, in here, now you can actually tell. See, now that we came through here, it looked like it was a pinch-off point, that wall there, but like I was saying, there's a very, very large cavern over here that it just opens up, and that's why I want to build this into a big, massive underground city from how big and cool this underground stuff looks nowadays. And I forgot that I had found this up here, and I kind of wish I would have remembered because I was in need of all of this, and also because this stuff is all close enough to my base that it's rendered, but it's not like I'm really that close to it, so this all grows constantly. So I will be going through here and harvesting all of these before I head back up to the surface. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I played yesterday for about 2 hours. I live streamed the entire thing. I didn't have a microphone, so there was no talking, and there was about 50% of the time that I was AFKing a farm, so, I just kind of stood around. But this is the second episode. It's only been about an hour and 40 minutes, but it was obviously the episode of me running around showing you the entirety of my base. So for the fact of all the stuff that I built and the fact that there was still a lot of stuff I didn't end up getting to show all you guys in the end, an hour and 40 minutes is a very long time to be just showing a base off. And as much as, there might be new stuff in the future coming up that you might see that you weren't shown when I did this tour, I might be able to explain it to you guys if anybody's ever in the chat and they want to ask about it, or maybe you're watching this video posted on YouTube or something like that to the point where you want to leave a comment and ask about something you saw. I will be more than happy to make a video about whatever it is that you want to know about and explain it to you the best I can. I just was trying to really go over the main builds and not worry so much about, farms and little small things that I built. And, I can cover that stuff over the time of, like, doing as I'm building different things and stuff. So next episode that comes out, probably it might be later tonight because it's literally only about 4 o'clock in the afternoon right now. And, there's a lot of time left until I'll go to bed. So it's not to say that I couldn't still pick up the controller and play some Minecraft just later tonight. But essentially, I'm done for playing now. I want to go inside and grab a little bite to eat and kind of just watch some YouTube videos and relax a little bit, and not be worrying about playing or live streaming. And so I need to constantly be talking, because that's really the other thing is, in reality, I've been sitting here talking to you for the last almost 2 hours straight, and I would, as much as I am used to talking for long periods of time, I haven't done it for a while, and my mouth is extremely dry, so I would like to be able to take a break and get some food and drink some water and, really just kind of hydrate myself and get myself back to where I need to be, and then later I can come in, and obviously later tonight if I play, or whenever the next video is that I live stream to play, it will be of me actually building and not doing tours and stuff like that. So that's what I was saying. If there's ever anything you see that you would like to be explained or you want to ask about, go right ahead. I'll do my best to explain it to you either through the comments or in the next video. I'll put a small section in there for those of you that asked. I can show you. But yeah, so pretty much the next video, whenever that is, whether it's tonight or tomorrow, we are going to be starting off by building a fountain somewhere outside of the mega base, the main mega base, and I want to make it timed on daylight sensors, so it will like dispense lava at night but dispense water during the day. And then there's obviously all the other projects that I've started that I haven't finished that I might work on. There might be something new that pops up while we're at it. I don't know. That's the best thing, and the one thing I love the most about Minecraft is the beautifulness that it literally is to do whatever you want. I can turn this game on, I have plans, I have things I want to build, adventures I want to go on, and I don't have to do it if I don't want to. That's the beauty of this game. I 100% am in control of what I am doing on this world. So every Let's Play from here on out is going to be a little bit different. And I hope you enjoyed, because I enjoyed taking you guys on this journey. I enjoyed live streaming it for you for the last almost 2 hours and talking about everything, showing you all the cool stuff I've been able to build in the last 6 years, and in the hopes of what other cool things I can build in the next 6 years, because I have zero intentions to stop playing on this world unless Minecraft forces me at some point to not be able to play on this real world. Because that's the only other thing you have to remember. Where my world is, like where the main base and the mega base are, those are actually old terrain. You know, it was a couple updates ago, it was either 1.18 or 1.19, Minecraft completely redid the way the world spawns. So now there are, there are better mountains and cooler valleys and rivers that actually look like they belong, and like they just completely redid how the world generates its terrain. And so anywhere in my world that I hadn't explored gets rendered now in the new text, or in the new way. But since I already had my base and everything like that, all that around there, everywhere that I had already been, those are all the old Minecraft world. So I really, really love it, and that's why I love this world more than anything, to be completely honest, is because where I'm at, where I'm playing in the world, essentially is the old game. It's like how the old game generated terrain. It's how it generated the trees, and how the hills were just hilly instead of mountainy, and stuff like that. And then literally all you have to do is go fly off in any direction about 1,000 blocks, and you'll find terrain that I have never been to. And once you get there, you will see all the really cool ass Minecraft terrain that now is generated because of the way Minecraft's been changed. So I just kind of like that idea that I have like this circular area of about 1,000 blocks that's like old Minecraft, and then you have the new Minecraft that's out beyond that. The more recent update they just sent out, which is 1.20, I think, or maybe it's 1.21, or so. I can't remember. I'm so behind and confused on where we're at, or what we actually have for updates. But the last update they sent out that had the deep dark dimension and all that, I had to travel almost 5,000 blocks away to be able to find one, because I had traveled and discovered so much of the world already that it's like when you add something to the game that's new, that has to be spawned in a new area, essentially you have to travel really far away because anywhere that you've already been, it can't spawn there because that's considered old game and not the new part of the game. So having an old world has its downsides with the massive traveling to get to new POIs and stuff like that. But I mean, the reality of it is like I said, I literally am playing on a world that was created 6 years ago, and as much as maybe some of you don't play, or maybe some of you have played but you haven't played for 6 years, Minecraft's changed a lot in 6 years. So the idea that I started this world, it was 6 years ago, and Minecraft is like 3 times the game it is now, or 3 times now what it is than what it was, is like really cool. I don't know, just kind of thinking that like I have one world that essentially encapsulates all the different updates. But yeah, so anyways, I'm just sitting here running my mouth, talking your ears off, for really no reason. We're staring off into the distance on the game, and I'm essentially staring at my laptop screen while I talk to you. So I'd just like to say thank you for anybody who spent the time to sit here and watch my video and see all the cool stuff that I have been doing for the last 2 years. And if this is on YouTube, and if you're sitting here watching this as like hey, I might actually want to watch him live stream as he plays this, then I would suggest going to twitch.com and looking up Murder and Murder. Once you look up Murder and Murder, that's where you will find me. That's where I am, twitch.tv/Murder and Murder. And don't have a stream schedule. I don't have like a specific time that I'm on or that I expect to be on and stuff like that. It just simply is, I have a lot of extra time usually in my life, and when I have the extra time, I like playing the video games. And if I can live stream and play at the same time and essentially immortalize my world even more, because it will then be ever saved on the internet, that's all fine with me, and I like that. So any chance that I have the ability to live stream, I'm going to be doing that from now on, especially now that I also have the microphone. And a large majority, it's going to be of me playing Minecraft, because I do honestly dump about 2 to 6 hours of Minecraft in a day, and might as well again be showing the update live instead of waiting to do a world update tour like this every 3 years. So thank you again for watching. See you guys next time for the next one. Hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully I see you next time for the next one. And hopefully, goodbye. Or maybe goodbye. And again, goodbye. And one more time, goodbye, goodbye. Goodbye, bye, 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 bye. Goodbye, 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 bye. Goodbye, 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 goodbye. I'm going now to leave the stream. But if I wait 60 seconds, the stream will be at 1 hour and 50 seconds. So that's what we're gonna do, yeah. I don't know why I keep singing what's happening in this game. But here we are doing it anyways. Goodbye, goodbye, I'll see you tomorrow. And if you see me, then you you should have no sorrow, 'cause I'm here to serve you and make you the best Twitch video you've ever seen. So